Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how we took our 10-year-old son to the cinema here in the Philippines to see Moanna 2, which is a G rating. That means generally anyone can go, but we left after only 40 minutes. So in this video I'm going to tell you why and talk a bit more about it. So yesterday we went to the cinema in SM Mall. They have a cinema house inside the mall, and Moanna 2 was on, and I have to say it was super busy. We actually tried to go at the weekend, but it was full, and they were showing it in I think 3 or 4 picture houses. So I think they've got 6 inside the cinema, and the one we wanted we couldn't get the one after that, so we decided to come back yesterday, and the price for each of us, it was 275 pesos. So our son Kian is 10, so he paid the full price. So that was 275 times 3, and they give you a bottle of water each as well, which is quite nice. But what we did was we had to queue up. The system could be improved, I think, but anyway, I queued up for some time and got the tickets, got the water, and then we came back later. I think we had about an hour to wait, which wasn't too bad. But the reason I chose Moanna 2 was because he likes animation movies. Now this is the first time, believe it or not, that I've been to the cinema in the Philippines, and it's the first time that Kian was at the cinema in his life. Now you might find that a bit strange, but Kian is autistic, and we weren't sure how he was going to be inside the cinema. The movie itself, I thought he might be okay with it. Now I've seen the first one, Moanna. I thought it was quite good, but the humour, I would say it's adult humour, or certainly young adult humour for a lot of it. Not all of it. There's a lot that people, kids younger, could appreciate. But with Kian being autistic, I wasn't sure how he was going to take to it. So when we first went in there, he was really taken with the whole experience. It reminded me actually of when we got on a plane to fly to Siargao. When was that? 2 or 3 years ago. He had been on a plane before, but it was only from 6 months old up to 5 years old, and I think he had forgotten all about it. So when we went to Siargao, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, he was like really excited getting on the plane. When I say excited, I don't mean he was out of control, but you could tell he was really taken with it all, and he was trying to take it all in, and loved the experience being on the plane again. So it was like that in the cinema, and for the first, I would say 20 minutes, I thought he's going to be okay. He wasn't getting overexcited, and I thought he's going to be fine. But when it got to about half an hour, I could tell he was struggling a bit. I don't think he was that interested in the movie. He loves animals. That's his thing. He'll watch YouTube, and all he watches is animals. So anything with animals in it, he loves. Moanna, not really, maybe not really his cup of tea. So I said to my wife, I said, I don't think he's going to be able to sit through this. So she's asked him. She says, "Do you want to go home?" He said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, let's just go," because beforehand I said to my wife, now, sorry, I should have said this at the beginning. There'll be a lot of you guys that are not interested in this, and I understand that. But maybe if some of you have had experience of autism, then you might be able to relate to it. I said to my wife beforehand, why don't we take him? And if he doesn't enjoy it, we can just leave. If he gets agitated or bored, we'll just leave. So that's what we did. And I said to her, look, she was okay with it. I said, the next time what we'll do is, I think they're bringing out a new Lion King movie. I think you would enjoy that more. Now I know, when he watches videos on YouTube, he'll watch things over and over repeatedly, to the point where it gets really, really unbearable for us. It's kind of hard to talk about. I wasn't sure whether to make this video or not, but I wanted to share. So if there's any other parents out there who are maybe going through a similar thing, maybe we can discuss it in the comments. So we realised Kiam was autistic from a very, very early age, but initially there was no signs. So just to give you some background, right, what happened was when my wife got pregnant, we were in Malaysia, living there, and she went back to the Philippines for a holiday. I stayed in KL because I was working, and she messaged me. We kind of thought that she might have been pregnant because she was late with her period, so she messaged me and said she was pregnant. That's it, confirmed. And Kiam was born in the Philippines, and when he was, I think, 5 months old, I flew over to Manila. We had rented a place in Manila, so I flew over there, and the next day the three of us flew back to Malaysia when he was 5 months old. And I had never been alone with him. I had been flying over, I think, once a month after he was born, and this was my first time I was going to be alone with him in the apartment, and that happened when she went to the bathroom. So my wife went to the bathroom, and he was just sat on the sofa with me, 5 months old. As soon as she left the room, before you could see his eyes were following her. As soon as she left the room, he said, "Mama," and I was like, "Oh, 5 months old." So we thought everything was, as it should be. But when he got to about 10 months, he started walking at normal age. I think 11 months, 12 months. But around 10 months we could see some signs. He had been trying lots of different foods. He would try anything, rice, chicken, whatever you gave him, he would try it. But then all of a sudden he stopped trying things, and he only wanted to eat certain things. And I thought this was a bit strange. Also some of his mannerisms, things that he was doing with his hand. There would be things that I realised that things were not as we first thought. And it was hard. I mean, even up until now it's tough. But as he gets older, things get a bit easier. So Anyway, after the cinema, I said to my wife, look, we'll try again when the Animal Lion King, whatever it's called, comes out. So now that he's 10, Kian goes to a special school here. And when we were in Malaysia, when he turned 5, or just before he turned 5, I said to my wife, like, well, she actually brought it up to me, and she said, I think we should go back to the Philippines before Kian goes to school. He had been going to like a preschool in Malaysia, kindergarten, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't a special school, it was just a normal preschool. And we discussed it, and I thought it was a good idea because all his cousins are here in Philippines, and rather than him sitting in his apartment, in our apartment, all day with my wife, except when he went to preschool, I was at work. I thought he would be better in the Philippines where all his cousins are, because autism is it can be very, very isolating. So he'll feel. The last thing we wanted was him to be isolated. It's good for him to have company because it brings him on. So that's what happened was they came here to the Philippines. Now my plan was I was just going to stay on in Malaysia. As things transpired, I got a job in the Middle East, and I said to my wife, well, there's no point in me staying in KL, you're not here, or you won't be here come March. So I left there in the January before they left in the March, and I went to the Middle East. Now that I'm here, I just want to say one thing. The school that he goes to here in Legazpi is brilliant. He has come on leaps and bounds. He's talking, he's interacting, he understands. He's only recently started going to the toilet himself. So you imagine, right? 10 years old. It's been tough. We're kind of restricted in where we can go sometimes because of that issue. But now that he's started going to the toilet himself, it makes it a bit easier. It's still tough, don't get me wrong. Kian sometimes it can be hard work, but he's a good wee soul, he's good natured. One thing I would say, and if you've had the experience of autism, he gets bored quite easily. So if he doesn't have TV or YouTube to watch, he'll go and read a book, and he's quite content. He'll pick up some of his books, and he'll say what his thing is now is spelling. So he loves reading all the words, spelling them, and basically learning. He's even singing in Tagalog now. He learned one of the songs. It's Merry Christmas, Pasco. I don't know what the full song is, but he can sing that from start to finish. So he learns a lot from YouTube, and some of you might think it's bad for him, and there's that aspect as well. Too much of one thing isn't good, but it's incredible how much he learns from YouTube. The school that he goes to teaches him life skills, so they do a lot of motor exercises, movements and stuff. They teach him social skills, even just going to the toilet. They try and teach that as well. So they're really, really good. But I said to my wife, you know what, I don't know how some of these parents can afford it, because it's all local kids that go to the school, obviously, and their parents are all local, because it's expensive. It's 12,900 pesos a month. And I don't know what their salaries are, but I would imagine it's quite tough for them to find that money. And some of them even come from far away. You're talking about, I think she said, Sorsogon. You know, that's like an hour's drive, an hour and a half drive. It must be really, really tough. Anyway, I just wanted to share that about autism, because it's always good to talk. And if any of you guys have experienced it, then drop me a comment, and you know, maybe we can bounce off each other, and you know, share things. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one. Cheers.